Well, guess what, folks? A federal judge threw out Brett Favre's lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe because of comments that he made about him regarding the scandal in Mississippi. Yeah, this dude right here, of course, has been trying to sit here and he's of course was trying to get money from the state meant for poor people to be used for athletic purposes. Huh, ain't that grand? This was a tweet that Shannon sent out. The United States District Court for the Southern District of Mississippi today dismissed Brett Favre's defamation lawsuit against me. The court found the statements were protected by the First Amendment to the Constitution, thanks to my legal team and their handling of this case. Now, again, Farve was really upset, mad, and angry, y'all, because Shannon Sharpe just eviscerated him. Well, it wasn't him, the only person, because folks were highly critical of Farve working with officials in Mississippi to use the money for poor people for athletic purposes. Yeah, this dude made millions of dollars in the NFL, endorsements and things along those lines. And the text messages that were revealed showed that he knew what was going on. He knew what was happening. He knew exactly what was taking place. And guess what? Tate Reeves, who was the governor, did not want this stuff coming up during his election. So what did he do? Oh, let's push these things off till after the election. It's something, Randy, when people like Farve, again, think that you can't have First Amendment rights. Well, they sure love that Second Amendment. They always skip over that first one, though.
They sure do. I don't think the problem was even what he said as much as who said it. Because, you know, Shannon Sharpe was not the only one who said the truth about Brett Favre. I mean, he was not the only one. I honestly believe that, there was some, angst or because it was a black man saying the truth. I'm gonna just, keep it real because there were so many people who were commenting on these cases. Sometimes people don't like when black people speak up. I believe when that ad came out and the woman said to LeBron, just shut up and dribble. I believe that is how America feels about many of our black athletes. And they become very upset when they have the intelligence to look at something, look at a case and comment on it. So it wasn't even just about what he said. It was just the fact that he was saying that Sharpe was saying anything. Because Brett knows that what he did was wrong and dirty. I mean, we all saw the text messages. It was some mess going on down there.
Well, and what he did, Joy, he Shannon called Brett Favre a sleazeball. And the judge was like, say, dude, that's called hyperbole.
That's right. I mean, and building on what Randy said, this wasn't just that he was a black man. He was a black athlete who's being listened to by fans, right? And his words resonated, and they were true and backed up by Favre's own texts and exchanges. The anger comes from the fact that it rang, right? And it touched people. People heard it when it was said by Mr. Sharpe. So we know what the last segment was about, cheaters and hypocrisy, and this segment is about cheaters and hypocrisy.
Here's what I love right here in this scathing 12-page opinion. The judge said, quote, no reasonable person listening to the broadcast would think that Favre actually went into the homes of poor people and took their money, that he committed the crime of theft, larceny against any particular poor person in Mississippi. Sharpe's comments were made against the backdrop of long-standing media coverage of Favre's role in the welfare scandal and the state's lawsuit against Favre. Listeners would have recognized Sharpe's statements as rhetorical hyperbole. Boy, judge lays it out right there, Mustafa.
He sure does. This is important. I don't know if folks understand how important what Judge Starrett did. He actually made sure that if athletes or others are willing to stand up and call out these injustices that folks who have privilege continue to do, if he hadn't done that, if he had ruled in the other way, we know how difficult it is to get many folks, whether it's athletes or artists or a number of other folks, to feel comfortable enough and really just calling out what we see every day with our eyes and what we hear with our ears. So this was incredibly important. The other part of it is that Brett has enough influence that he could reach out to some of his other wealthy friends if he wanted to find financing for a volleyball court. So he had no need to actually dip into a fund that was intended to help people who are in challenging times. So one, I applaud what the judge did. And we also got to continue to call out when individuals who already have wealth and privilege continue to try and, I'll say it this way, pimp our communities or pimp systems that are meant to help our folks.
And you know what? Here's some of those comments with Shannon.
Come on.
I mean, it's just natural. But I mean, but you got to be pretty low that you would take from the most underserved to fill your need, or so you can seem philanthropic. Really? Because you know they say, man, you see what Brett did? $5 million for a volleyball arena because his daughter played there. He didn't have to do that. He didn't do nothing. The federal government gave that money, but they're quick to talk about, oh, black and brown people, they be stealing, and then we need to cut out some of this pork and all this. Stop it.
Yep.
The biggest criminals, the people that steal the most, look.
Ha ha! Oh, love it, Randy. He like,
I love it.
look like him.
I hope that Sharpe actually sues him to pay for his legal fees, because I know that he had to incur some cost. And that was a frivolous lawsuit, I believe. And I hope that he charges, gets that money back.
Well,
And let me just say one other thing.
yeah, go ahead.
Brett Favre has the ability to fight back in the media if he needs to. If he feels like it was wrongly said, he has all the resources in the world. He's not even little old us. This is a man with tremendous reach, financial resources, media resources, that he can correct the record and that everyone would hear him. So this lawsuit was frivolous. Randy is correct. And I hope some resources will return to Mr. Sharpe.
And people need to understand, again, money that was meant for poor people in Mississippi, that's what Brett Favre was accessing, and he knew the money was for those folks. And the governor right now, the governor Tate Reeves, who's trying to get reelected again, he did not want this to be a campaign issue. The trial was supposed to start. He pushed this thing off until after the election. That's another reason why Tate Reeves should go down. And if y'all in Mississippi, y'all should be voting for Presley like crazy over Tate Reeves, because that man is an abomination.